Should I forgive my bisexual husband for cheating on me with his ex-wife? This was first posted on September 13th, 2024. I'm honestly a mess and I don't know what to do, so any advice would be appreciated. I, 27 male, and my husband, 37 male, have been married for 3 years, dating for 6. He has an ex-wife, 37 female, which he divorced a year before we met. We have a son, 7 male, who was adopted after we got married and who I love as my own child because he is. I know my husband, Peter, fake name, is bisexual. I have no problem with it, and I had no problems with his ex-wife, Allison, also fake name. I did have a problem with his family as they are a bit homophobic and are always telling Peter that he should get back together with Allison. Well, 2 weeks ago, we were at his family's town because it was my son, Jack's, fake name, birthday, and we wanted to spend it as a family. My mother-in-law decided it would be a good idea to invite Allison, so she arrived in the middle of the party. I didn't want to ruin Jack's birthday, so I stayed quiet. I spent all my time with Jack, playing with him and his cousins at his request. When it was time to cut the cake, I noticed Allison and Peter weren't there. So I went inside and looked for them around the house. I found them in Peter's old bedroom, taking their clothes off at a birthday party? Oh my gosh! I stood there in shock for a moment, but then I left and went back to celebrating Jack's birthday. Oh no. Part of me wanted to scream and cry, but I also was in shock and I refused to make Jack's birthday about me. Oh, you are stronger than I. We cut the cake and opened the presents. People were already leaving when Allison and Peter came back. Peter took me aside and started saying that I shouldn't have cut the cake without him present. And it was disrespectful. Okay, see, that's where I lose my absolute shit. I could feel the rage going inside of me, and this isn't even my life. I stared at him and just said, "I'm sorry, I just thought you'd be too busy getting into your ex-wife's pants." He got quiet and left the house to go back to the hotel. Once I put Jack in bed and made sure he was asleep, I locked myself in the bathroom and broke down. I called a friend and he tried his best to console me. I only calmed down in the morning when I took Jack for breakfast because I didn't want him to see me like that. I'm now watching him play in the park and I don't want him to suffer. I don't want him to have a broken family, and I don't want him to know that relationships aren't a happily ever after. Peter has been calling and texting, apologizing for everything, and I am tempted to forgive him. I'm tempted to just have my family back, and all my friends are saying that it was just a mistake, that he was vulnerable, and Allison is his ex-wife. What kind of friends do you have? Let me tell you right now, none of my friends would be saying that. Oh, hell no. Maybe your friends would, and that's okay. Let me know in the comments, but I'm just telling you, absolutely not. So what am I supposed to do now? I need advice from people who don't know my husband or me personally. I mean, truthfully, I think it comes down to everyone's opinions and experiences with cheating. Some people have and can forgive cheaters, and others can't and don't. We got an update which came the next day. Well, first of all, I want to thank you all for your advice, and I want to explain some things before the actual update. But thank you for opening my eyes about the situation. Number 1. Peter and Allison didn't notice me when I saw them. There was music very loud downstairs and they weren't facing the door. Number 2, I didn't stop them because I was in shock. I just stood there for a moment and I heard my son, so I unconsciously focused on him. I was pretty much on autopilot. 3, Peter didn't come to the hotel with me because I changed to a different one. He did try to follow me, but I took a taxi and I left. As far as I know, he's staying with his parents, and Allison left. Number 4, we met when I was 20 and he was 30. We started as friends and we ended up dating. Yes, we are both men, and no, I didn't feel manipulated or groomed by him. Those were the most asked things, and I did answer some comments, not all, but now onto the update. I did as some of you said and took some tests to discard any STIs or STDs. The results are coming back in a few days, and I will take another one in 3 weeks to be sure. My son is having a sleepover with a friend, and I decided to speak to my husband. He came by our house after a few minutes. I texted him. He asked about Jack and I told him where he was. Then we sat on the couch and started talking. I started crying after a few minutes and he followed after. I asked some simple questions. When? Why? How many times? Among others, and this is what I could figure out by all the things he said. It happened for the first time when he visited his parents alone 2 years ago. They invited her. They both got drunk. He was feeling lonely as I had been giving more attention to Jack since we adopted him, and they slept together. Nothing happened again until our son's birthday party. He said his mother pressured him a bit and he caved in. Your mother pressured you to have sex with your ex-wife? Give me a break. I don't believe he did it for that reason, but I don't know. He said he doesn't love her and I believe him, but it doesn't negate the fact of what he did more than once. After talking for a while, I told him that I wanted a divorce. He started sobbing and begging for another chance, but I told him I can't give him another chance because I wouldn't be able to trust him again, and I don't want that in a relationship. He kept crying and begging for another 30 minutes until I told him that we have to think about Jack and his well-being and that we could stay friends and co-parent him. He got mad, really mad. He started yelling that it was all Jack's fault. What? And that we shouldn't have adopted him, that he's the one who's getting in between us. I was crying and really scared. I had never seen him this angry. He hit the table and stormed out of the house. Man needs to figure his stuff out over there, okay? He needs to work on himself. I called the house where Jack is staying and told them if Peter shows up there, they can't open the door. After the little episode, I was scared that Peter would try to hurt Jack. I called my friends again, Thomas, and told him everything that happened. He came by and is staying with me until I'm better. Right now, I'm trying to figure out what to do and how to go on with the divorce. Hope your friends are saying differently now. All right, so the next update came 11 days later on my birthday, September 25th, 2024. My husband has been showing up at my work, following me, and calling me from burner phones. I was afraid that he would go after Jack like many of you said he would, but he didn't. He said a lot of stuff, but I'll try to write the important things. He said that he missed when we were just us, that I stopped paying attention to him when we adopted Jack, and that I wasn't his anymore. He said that he missed how dependent I was on him. I was very insecure when we met, but I started working on my issues when we adopted Jack because I didn't want to be a bad example for him. When we got married, I used to get sick all the time. I was weak and tired, so he would take care of me 24/7. The doctors couldn't tell what was wrong, and I didn't get better until a bit after we adopted Jack. I guess that dependence is what he missed. Yesterday, he followed me to work and started screaming that I was his and that we made vows to stay together. We had to call security, and he waited for me next to my car. I panicked and took a taxi home. He keeps messaging me and showing up to our house. I took a few weeks off work to be with Jack, although he's taking this better than me. I made an appointment with my therapist for him, and when the divorce is finalized, I'll go to one myself. I've been debating what to do, so I'll update you when something happens. I feel like we should consider a restraining order maybe. Not that that does anything from what everyone has told me and stories I've read, but maybe something to get in paper. I don't know. Hydration time. Favorite time of the day. It's actually not at all, but with you guys it is. Cheers. That's not me farting, okay? My chair is very squeaky. Let me know what's in your cup, but take a sip of water. The next update came 1.5 months later in November. This has been really difficult, but I am almost divorced. I have primary custody of Jack, and I've got a restriction order against Peter and Allison. I'll try to be quick, but a lot happened. So after I made the post, Peter kept calling and stalking me. I didn't know what to do until I started packing Peter's stuff, and I found a box of pictures of me before we met? Oh no. Like whoa, hold on. Like 3 or 4 years before we met, while he was still married to Allison. I never knew why they got divorced. He just said it was too painful to talk about, so I never asked. But I swallowed my anger and sent Allison a message to ask her about the pictures, and she told me that they got divorced because she saw him stalking my Facebook several times and found the same box that I did. Yet Allison is still sleeping with this person. Riddle me that. He called it an innocent crush. Red flag. It hasn't come in yet. I really need my red flag. And curiosity, but she thought he was cheating on her and they got divorced. A year later, he met me, but Allison always thought that I was his side piece. Oh, so she found it, thought that he was cheating on her with you. Meanwhile, you hadn't even met yet, and he was just stalking you online and printing pictures of you and putting it in a box. I read a few comments saying that maybe I was sick because he was making me sick. I don't know if that's possible. I don't really know. I mean, the illnesses were bad enough to make me stay in bed, like having a bad cold. But I don't know, I stopped digging. After I found the pictures, I confronted Peter without Jack in the house, and he seemed, I don't know, proud. He kept smiling and saying that all he did was for us, that it was love at first sight, and we were destined. He was just making sure that it happened. Apparently, we had met before we became friends. I remember meeting him at a party through some friends, but we met before as teenagers. He and I lived close by towns, and my school made some trips to the towns nearby, and we met on one of those trips. We were something like friends, but only for a summer because he went to college and I soon forgot about him. But he found my Facebook and the story continued. I was horrified, to say the least. He tried to console me and tell me that it was fine, that he did it out of love, and that if only we hadn't adopted Jack, everything would be fine. I was bawling my eyes out. My entire marriage was a lie. He said that he only slept with Allison because he knew that it would get my attention and that we didn't have to go through with the divorce, that I know he loves me, and that's it. He promised to be a better dad for Jack if I made more time for him. He told me to quit my job because he earned enough to take care of all of us, and that would give me more time with him. I was in shock, and then we hugged, calming me down. I admit that for a moment, I allowed him to hold me. I allowed myself to consider his proposal, but I kept thinking about his lies. It wasn't about the cheating. It was the stalking, the lies, the obsession. It creeped me out, so I tried to pull away and tell him that I would go through the divorce. He refused. He hugged me tighter and screamed that I needed him, that he could protect me, he could take care of me, he could save me, that I was his husband and only his. I was terrified. I slapped him and pulled away, yelling at him to get out of my house. He didn't. He just kept screaming and holding on to me until a neighbor heard the commotion and called the police. I filed a restriction order and have been taking care of Jack since. During the divorce proceedings, Peter asked for 50-50 custody, which surprised me because in all of this time, he hasn't cared about seeing Jack. But I later found out that it was only because he would get to see me and talk to me regularly. He's been contesting every single thing about the divorce, trying to make it last longer than it has, and it has been working. He offered to give me child support even though we have 50-50 custody. He allowed me to keep the house and other stuff. So that's what's been going on in my life. The only happy thing that happened was Halloween. Jack insisted on dressing up as Spider-Man and me dressing up as Tony Stark. So we did, and I took him trick-or-treating. It was the most adorable sight ever, and I knew I made the right choice with him and Peter. We have the next update, which came not long ago, 5.5 months later, on April 20th, 2025. Ooh! Hit me with the update. We are finishing the divorce proceedings, but Peter's attitude has given a 180, and I don't know if I'm crazy or what. The last time I posted, Peter was basically saying that our son was the reason for our divorce and only wanted custody of him to see me. Well, now he's being father of the year. A friend of mine, Dean, fake name, is handling the drop and pickups of Jack so that I don't see Peter. At first, he was mad and called me because he thought he and I were dating. Then he didn't care. Now, I thought that he would treat Jack badly, and I kept very close to him, asking him questions about his father, how everything was going, etc. Jack told me that he's been acting like the perfect dad. He's nice, he plays with him, helps him, and is completely different from before. I have talked to Peter, and he told me that he was going to therapy, which I am happy for, and he has messaged me, apologized, and told me that we should try couples therapy. I declined, and he hasn't asked again, but he wants us to meet up at his house tomorrow to discuss everything that happened. He said it was part of his therapy. I haven't gone to therapy. I can't afford it right now, but Jack is. I can't say I don't miss Peter because he was a great partner and husband before everything went down, but I don't trust him after all that happened. So I don't know what to say to him tomorrow or how to express how I feel about it. You're going. Is it wrong to miss him? I mean, this whole thing happened because he slept with someone else, and I know that he hasn't seen Allison and won't be seeing her again because she is also done. Should I just move past it? Jack is also saying that he misses the three of us together. He's cried to me about it more times than I can count and asks why I can't forgive his dad. What the hell am I supposed to do? To feel? It's a short update. I guess that I'm just trying to vent without judgment from the people I know and give an update to those who asked about it. We got an update. This came April 29th. Oh my God, it's May 1st right now. So this is only 2 days ago. Okay, I'm going to clear up a few things before I give you the actual update. Number one, I should have explained it better, but my restriction order was a temporary one, only for 30 days. Number two, Peter was a very good husband. I read that he was abusive all throughout our relationship. He wasn't. And he was a good dad to Jack. Everything went to hell when I caught him cheating. Three, what Jack was saying wasn't told by Peter. I talked to him and I made sure he just has been missing our life before. Number four, Peter would never touch Jack like some of you suggested. My case may seem like he could, but he never even touched me or groomed me. I did talk to Jack just to make sure, and he reassured me nothing happened. Now on to the update. I did meet with Peter. Most of you told me not to go to his apartment, so I told him to meet me at a park, take a walk, or something. When I saw him, he was different. He looked very depressed and he hugged me when he saw me. He wouldn't stop apologizing for what happened. We started talking and walking. He didn't justify what he said or did, but he did say that he regrets it. He said that he misses me and misses being together. I asked about Allison and he told me that he cut her and his parents out, which I believe he did. And then I asked about what he said about Jack. He basically said that he resented Jack for a long time because my attention wasn't on him anymore and it was selfish. But he was used to being the center of my world, so when it suddenly changed, he couldn't take it. He told me that he loves Jack, but that he sustains that if giving him up meant to have me back, he would do it in a heartbeat. We talked for hours while Jack was with my friend. I cried a lot. There were things I decided not to ask, like if he was drugging me, like some of you said, because I honestly don't want to know. We have been texting these past days, mostly about Jack, but I'm considering family therapy, mostly to help Jack cope with everything. The divorce is still happening, which Peter wasn't too happy about, but he wasn't angry anymore, just sad. I also recently met a guy in a coffee shop and we have been texting a lot, so I will see how that turns out. And that is it for the moment. I will update you guys if you have any questions or if something else happens. I gotta say, something in my gut is telling me that I am very happy you did not take Peter back. And I don't know, something's telling me like I hope you don't. I think we can co-parent, that's fine. Ooh, I don't know. No, I do know. There's way too many red flags, no. But let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the comment section on this one. Stay classy out there, stay sassy. See you tomorrow.